Hi there, I'm Sean Dillman. In this video, I'm going to show you how to tally receipts using a Fujitsu ScanSnap scanner and the Fujitsu ScanSnap home software. So before I get started, let me show you the reason that I'm making this video. So here on my YouTube page, I have a video about the Fujitsu ScanSnap IX1600. This is a frequently asked questions video where I answer all kinds of questions from viewers. And this person has asked on this video, they've said, I have 10 years of receipts for a home. Can any software tally up total dollars? So the short answer is yes, it can be done, but the long answer is that it takes a few steps. But fortunately, that's why I'm making this video, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come here into the ScanSnap home software. You see here it says no data. I've basically removed everything from the software so that it looks exactly like it would look for you if you were to come into this software fresh. There's no settings in here, there's no data in here, it's basically back to the factory default. So I'm going to click here where it says scan, and this is going to bring up my menu where I can change the settings for the scanner. And you see here it says IX1300. For this video, I am actually using that scanner instead of my IX1600, and I'll show you a little later why that is. Either scanner works. Even if you used a different scanner from the ScanSnap series, it would work. I just wanted to point out that I'm using the IX1300 for this demonstration. So because we're interested in receipts, not photo albums, scan to email, scan to folder, I'm going to click on receipts so that it's gray, and then I'm going to click here where it says edit profiles. So under edit profiles, we can change all of the different settings for the specific scan profile, in this case receipts. I'm going to come down here where it says detailed settings and click there, and then I'm going to click on title. So the title format, it's already, the default is that the title will be generated automatically. So what that means is that the software working with the scanner is going to pull information out of the receipt and try to make a logical name for it. And if we click over here on options, we see that there's actually a lot of different information that we can ask the software to pull from the receipts. We can ask it to take the date on the receipt, the vendor, the amount, currency, tax, payment method, card type, card number, and the scan date. But I think I'm going to leave the settings like this. The date on the receipt, I think that's usually a valuable thing. The vendor, where is the receipt from, or what store, or what have you. And then the amount, that's also a useful thing. And just so you know how to use this, if you want to remove any of these or add any of them, you just use these buttons in the middle. So if I wanted to remove the amount and the vendor, and I just wanted to scan the receipt and have the date on the receipt, then I can do it like this. But that's not what I want. I want the vendor back in, and then I want the amount in as well. And down here it gives you a preview of what the file name is going to look like, separated by these little underscores. So when I scan a receipt, it's going to say the date, the vendor name, and the amount. Okay, so I click on OK, click Save. It saved that really quick. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 10 receipts. I'll actually go and get them now. I'm going to take 10 receipts, and those are going to be my example receipts. Now, I know that if you have receipts for going back 10 years, you're going to have a lot more than 10 receipts. So I have considered that, and I'll tell you my recommended best way of dealing with that. Okay, so here are my receipts. I'm not going to show you how to put them into the scanner. I think that you know that. And if you don't, please check out my IX1300 videos where I show you how it's really easy to use the front scanner, where you just put a document in the front of the scanner, it takes it in, it scans it, and then it brings it back out again. It's a really simple process, and that's actually the process that I recommend for scanning receipts as opposed to using the feeder, because as you can see here, I've got some receipts that are very small like this. I've got some that are kind of a little crinkled. This one is a handmade, a hand-drawn receipt. I'll talk about this later. But because I have such a different variety of receipts, I like to use the front scanner. It is a little slower than using a feed scanner, but by feeding the receipts in one by one, I really know that the data is being captured and that I'm getting a good scan, and I'm really confident that I'm doing it one by one and I'm not missing anything. If you have a lot of receipts that are in a uniform style, or you're confident that you can put them through the feeder and they'll all get through and they'll be scanned properly, then by all means, please do that. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to use the front scanner. So right now I'm going to go over to my scanner, I'm going to scan these through, and I'm going to go back to the ScanSnap home software, and you're going to see the scans come up one by one as I scan them through. So just give me one moment, I'll do that, and you'll see that happen. Okay, so I just scanned all of those receipts. I just sped up the video so that you didn't have to watch in real time. And I'm going to click here on Finish Scanning. In reality, it took me about a few seconds to scan each receipt, so it really only took me about 30 seconds or so. 10 receipts, 2 or 3 seconds each. It took me about 30 seconds. If you have a really big pile of receipts going back 10 years, I could definitely see that it would take a long time to scan that many documents. But the good thing is that when you're using the front return scanner, you don't have to do much. You just sit there, you put one in, it comes out, you move it to the side, you put the next one in, it comes out, you move it to the side. You could watch a movie or something while you do it. You could listen to an audiobook. You can do all kinds of things while you're doing this. It doesn't take a lot of attention. You may have to stop if for some reason there's a jam or something like that. Make sure you take the receipts and make sure there's no staples in them. Make sure they're not all crinkled up and stuff like that. Make sure that they're going to go in and that the scanner is going to be able to scan them. But generally speaking, you shouldn't have any problems using the front return scan. It just takes them in, puts them out. It's very simple. And of course, if you have an IX1600 or a different kind of scanner with a top feeder, you can of course use that for receipts as well. As I said, the reason I like to use the front return feeder is I find that it's more reliable in dealing with different receipt sizes and types and thicknesses. And if I need, I can just do it one by one, and I can be really confident that it scanned them all. Another thing I should mention is I did not scan any long receipts, meaning ones that are so long that they may not be scanned using the normal scan mode. I did make a video on how to scan long receipts, so if you want information or guidance on that, please check out that video. I show you exactly what to do and any potential issues with that. Okay, so what we have now is we have these 10 receipts that have been scanned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess I scanned 11 receipts in any event. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to Reveal in File Explorer. And what we're seeing now is what the receipts look like in the place that they've been scanned. In my case, to my OneDrive folder, ScanSnap receipts, ScanSnap scans, and then receipts. This is where they've been scanned to. And we have these nice little images. This one's on its side. Fine, I'm not going to bother to fix that. But if you look at the names, I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to View, List. If we look at these names, we see that they are, okay, I tried to make it bigger for you, but I'll leave it. If we look at the names, we see that they're pretty good. This one says $9. It doesn't have a date. It doesn't have the vendor. This is a handwritten receipt. This one, so it's not surprising that it didn't do it correctly. And $9 is not actually the total, so you'd have to watch out for that one. I'll be talking about these kinds of receipts coming up. But let's go to something like this: Home Depot, 2020. 2021 0309, that's the date. Home Depot gift card, it pulled in those words, $86.74. So I'm going to open this receipt. Here's the total, $86.74. Great, so it worked just fine. So the next step, you may be wondering, okay, so now we've scanned these, where does the tallying come in? So the next thing I'm going to do is bring up a piece of software that you probably haven't used in a very long time, or perhaps you've never used it. What we're going to do is we're going to click here on the Start menu. We're going to type in CMD. So that's going to bring up our command prompt application. We're going to push Enter. So this is a really old, I guess, piece of software that this is basically, I guess, derived from an operating system called DOS, which was, a very early operating system that most computers used and most computers ran. In any event, what we're trying to do is get some kind of a workaround so that we can get the information from here into some kind of a workable format. So what we're going to do here is we're going to change our directory. So I saved to the E directory. and my DOS prompt opened in the C directory, C, or drive. Sorry, I was using the wrong word. It opened in the C drive by default. My scans are saved on my E drive. I have multiple hard drives on my computer. If you only have one hard drive, you're not going to need to do this step, but if you have multiple drives, you'll need to do this. So for me, I need to type E and then colon, enter. Now I am in the E drive within the command prompt. I'm going to come up here, I'm going to copy this, I'm going to hold Control and push the C button on my keyboard, and now I'm going to go back to the command prompt. I'm going to type in CD, that means change directory. I'm going to push space, and then I'm going to push Control V to paste the location of the receipts. Now I'm going to push enter. So now what I see is E, OneDrive, ScanSnap, scans, receipts. So now I'm in that folder or in that directory within the command prompt software. If I type in dir, which means directory, and then press enter, it's going to show me what's in that directory. And there's the data. So this is the stuff that we want, which is great. But again, how do we get it into a workable format? So here what we're going to do is we're actually going to export this data to a text file, a really simple format. So I'm going to type in dir space /b/a-d space closed angle bracket space, and then we're going to call it tally.txt. So by doing this, essentially I am sending the directory information to a text file, and all of those little /b/a.d, that is being used to take out information that we don't want. Like this information on the left, we don't want that. We don't want this, we don't want this, we don't want the path name. So that's what that, those / with those letters, that's what that's doing. So I press enter, we go back here into our folder, we see that we now have a file called tally.txt. I'm going to open that, there's the information, great. Okay, so at this point, what we've done is we've scanned receipts, 11, through ScanSnap Home. That process has produced a bunch of PDF files for us and put them in a folder within our Windows operating system. At this point, we can use the command prompt software to look at those files and then export the information about those files to a text file. So the next step that we're going to take is we are going to massage or alter this data a little bit more to get it into a more workable format. So I'm going to hold the control button and press A to select all the text. I'm going to hold Control and I'm going to press C, and now I'm going to open a Windows, a Microsoft Word application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Control and press V. So basically I'm just going to open it in Word. Or if you wanted, you could open Word and then open the text file through Word. There's lots of different ways that you can do it. But basically we want this information in Word. So the next thing that I'm going to do, and this is where this underscore thing is going to come in really handy, is remember that our data is separated by these underscores, meaning the format of any of these receipts is like this. It goes date, name, amount, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to hold the Control key, press H. This is going to bring up our find and replace command, and then we're going to put an underscore there, so that's what we're searching for. And then when we're going to go into replace with, I press tab, but you can click on that field, and then I'm going to type in $T. So that is, if you hold shift and push the 6 key on your keyboard, that's usually where the caret is. It's the little angle up that looks like that, and then a T. And what this means is tab. So what it's going to do is it's going to find all of these underscores and it's going to replace them with tabs. And the reason that we want to do that is because we want to get the information kind of away from itself in individual little pieces. So now I'm going to click on replace all. It's made 27 replacements. And before I leave this find and replace command, I'm also going to search for .pdf, and I'm going to replace it with nothing, there's no data there in that field. And the reason I'm going to do that is because we just don't want that. We don't want .pdf to appear. So replace all, it made 11 replacements. Okay, so what we are looking at now is data that is a little bit more workable. The next step is to open up something like Microsoft Excel, and if you're not using Microsoft products, I will show you a way that we can do this using free Google software as well. So here I've got Excel open. I've come back to the document. It's already all highlighted, but again, I'm going to hold Control. I'm going to press C to copy the data, and then I'm going to click on Excel. And here I'm going to, I'm actually going to right click, and I'm going to paste using this. It says match destination formatting. Basically, I don't want to retain any of the formatting from Word. I just want the data, so I'm going to use that way to do it. I'm going to hold Control and press C, and I'm going to push Control V. It looks at it like it's the same anyway, so you can either paste it by taking out the formatting, or you could just paste it keeping the formatting. And while the data is still highlighted here, I'm going to click here where it says Format, and then I'm going to click Auto Column Width. And the reason I'm doing that is just to give us some more space so that we can see the data more easily. And then I just held down my Control key and I scrolled forward on my mouse just to zoom in so that it's a little bigger on the screen for you. Okay, so as you can see, we have our 11 entries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's not perfect. As you can see, these receipts, the software wasn't able to locate a date. For this receipt, it wasn't able to locate a name. For these two receipts, it didn't put the amount in the correct spot. For this receipt and this receipt, it thought that the amounts were negative amounts. So we just need to clean up the data a little bit at this point. So just to get started, I'm going to push the equals key, and then I'm going to type in SUM and then show a forward bracket or an open bracket, and then I'm going to push the up arrow key, and I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to hold the up arrow key until and push the up arrow key until I have highlighted all of those fields C2 to C12, and then I'm going to press Enter. And then this number here in C13, 224.1, that's our total. However, as I just mentioned, a couple of the fields are not working properly, right? So what I would need to do is I'll need to come up here, find my Hallmark receipt. I found it here. The receipt is actually for $5.14. So that's easy enough to fix, 5.14. So that's been fixed. This one, Thrift, it's a Thrifty's receipt. I'll need to find that, $10.48. Oh, I found it here. Yes, that is the correct amount. It just didn't put it in the right location. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to hold the Control button, press X, which cuts it, and then I'm going to paste it here. For this receipt, number 5, this is actually this handwritten receipt that I received. So with a receipt like this, there's not much that you're going to be able to do. It's understandable that the scanner can read information on a receipt like this that's been printed out, a computerized printout. But with a receipt like this that's been handwritten by somebody, a handwritten invoice, the software is just not going to be able to pick that information up. So this receipt, I'm looking at it, it's 33.6. So I'm going to delete these two fields. I'm just highlighting them. I'll press delete. And then this last one, there's a Home Depot receipt that I have. Oh, I see. This receipt actually was me returning a pack of screws that was worth $1.97. So I actually got that money back. So I didn't spend that money. So in reality, I should take this line out. I'm going to hold Shift. Highlight these fields, press delete, and then I'm actually going to right click and click delete, delete this entire row, and then press enter. So now we actually only have 10 receipts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because one of my receipts was actually me getting money back. So as you can see, we have a tally which says $280.39. If I press F2 again, you can see the formula there. And as I mentioned, if you're not using Microsoft software, you can do the same things here using free Google software. Sheets is basically the Google equivalent of Excel, and Google Docs is the equivalent of Microsoft Word. So what I will do is just so that you can see that it does the same thing, I'm just going to take this information out of my Excel spreadsheet. I've highlighted it all, Control C to copy. I'll minimize this and then Control V to paste. There you go. And then here in this field, bear with me, I actually don't use sheets that much. I think maybe under data, create a filter, data validation, format, insert, function, sum, and it looks like it works exactly the same as in Microsoft Excel. So I'll push up, I'll hold shift, press up, let go of shift, stop pressing up. So I've highlighted all of those fields, press enter, and there we go. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I hope that this video was helpful. As you can see, there are a few issues that you potentially need to overcome. If you have handwritten receipts that are mixed in with your computer printout receipts, you're probably going to need to give them special attention and look at those receipts and manually fix up the amount once you've got that all in your spreadsheet. You're going to need to watch out for receipts where perhaps you got money back and it's not actually a receipt where you've spent money. You're also going to need to watch out for receipts that maybe are faded and maybe the scanner actually has a hard time picking up the data and accurately putting that information in. So unfortunately, you will need to do the task of verifying the veracity and the validity and the dependability, I guess, of the data is not the same task as scanning the receipts, getting them into your software, using a command prompt or something similar, getting that data into a list, putting that into Microsoft Word, stripping out the information we don't need, separating it by tabs, putting it into your spreadsheet, and then summing the column. That's one task. Making sure that the information that's in the receipts is correct, making sure that the date is correct if you want that, the vendor name is correct if you want that, and that the amounts are correct, that's a different thing. And you may actually need to look receipt by receipt if you really want to double check and make sure that that's correct. Fortunately, because all of the receipts will be scanned, what you could do is you could essentially set up the receipts in a PDF document, which is kind of next door to your spreadsheet so that you can go through it. So for example, I'll just show you how we could do something like that. So here I am back in the receipts. I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to click on the last one. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to Combine Files in Acrobat. And then here, what we're going to do is click Combine, and it's going to put all of these documents into one single document, as you can see. This one I will click here over on the left, and this one I will fix the orientation. Hallmark, Thrifty, Home Depot, Fresh Mart, some kind of a cafe, Island Blueprint, Fairway, Hallmark. So now what I will do is I'll hold the Windows key, I will press my right key, that puts this over on this side of the screen. I will click back into Excel, I will open Adobe again here on the right hand side, and essentially I can just go through this one by one. Go, okay, where's this receipt? Oh, it's there, 33.6, 33.6, great. Thrifted, here's this, 549, 549, great. Next, Hallmark, 514, 514, great. Thrifty Foods, 1041, 1048, 1048. This is the one for the return screws. I took this out. 8674, 8674. 3668, 3668. 4046, 4046. 3875, 3875. 1791, 1791. $5.14, $5.14. Done. So now I'm confident that these 10 receipts, 11 documents, but one's a return, remember. So these 10 receipts are accurately being depicted in this table. These amounts are correct. If I wanted, I could go and fill in the name of the vendor for this one. I could double check and put the receipts in. I could put the date of the receipt in. But if that's not something that you're interested in and you just want to know the tally, I would say that this is a pretty good way to go. It's still much faster than scanning, it's still much faster than manually entering the amounts, in my opinion. However, it does require you to double check the work to make sure that it's correct. But yeah, this is basically the only way that I could think of that you could use a Fujitsu ScanSnap scanner and the Fujitsu Home software to easily tally a bunch of receipts. There are scanners from the Fujitsu Workgroup series, such as the FI8170. It's a new scanner that I'll be reviewing. I did an unboxing video already if you wanted to take a look at that, but I'll be doing a review. That is a much more powerful scanner. It has more powerful software that can detect the data that's in receipts and work with it on a whole other level that goes beyond what the ScanSnap series can do. Because it's built for business, it's built to be really, extremely high quality, professional grade. But if you've just got a Fujitsu ScanSnap scanner and Fujitsu ScanSnap Home, and that's what you're working with, I think that the method that I showed you in this video will get the job done and is something that'll work for you. So thank you again for your question. I really appreciate it. And for anybody else who's watching, thanks for checking out this video. I hope that it's helpful. If it is, please put a comment below and let me know what you think. And subscribe to my channel, and please check out some of my other videos before you go. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you're having a great day. I'm Sean Dillman.